Hello and welcome to the Ohio Arts Council's Rife Gallery. Today, we're going to engage in the DIY Friends and Family Workshop with artist Emily Moores. This DIY workshop is a part of A New World, Ohio Women to Watch 2023. All right, take it away, Emily.
Thank you so much. And I just want to start by saying thank you to the Rife Gallery and for Kat for bringing me in today for this workshop. I'm really excited to talk about it and also to share a little bit about my artwork. So I am an installation artist and I live and work in Cincinnati, Ohio. And today we're going to be creating mobiles that highlight and emphasize textures and patterns based off my installation work. To get started, I'm going to share with you a little bit about the textures within my own artwork, and then hopefully that will be inspiration for you as you work on your own project today. I have been making installations for a little under 10 years. I use mostly like paper, fabric, wood, and rope. I use everyday materials. Paper and fabric are things that we interact with every day without even thinking about it. And so when I create a sculpture, people already have a kind of tactile experience with the materials I have. And I feel like that emphasizes an immaterial, like tactile experience, even though you're not physically touching the sculpture. I am really influenced by patterns in wallpaper, fine china, nature. I love using patterns that are very repetitive. I find it really relaxing to cut tedious shapes out, and it really helps me connect to the materials. So this installation is Outline Blur, which is from 2020. This one was made mostly out of sheets of cut paper. So I used like a half moon, like crescent shape to create a pattern. And then I cut out that throughout the whole sheet of paper. And then I kind of hung it up and put it over the wood. And then in the next installation, this one is from the Rife Gallery in April of 2023. And so a lot of times when I go to make an installation, I'll have a basic outline in my head of how I want the structure to be. So with this one, you can see the dense area that is very orange. Like I already had a plan that I wanted this orange base and that there would be gold paper coming out of it. But when I get to the gallery, I also like to get a feel for the space. And so sometimes there are a lot of elements that I might play with as I go along. I also reuse materials. So when you look at these pictures, you can see like the orange, that is something that I used for a different installation and I'm repurposing for this current installation. But then when you look close up at the gold little figures and then the purple like pillows with the mat board coming out, that's something I made specific for this installation. But also those are things that I didn't have a plan for. They're things that I collected and gathered, and then I kind of had my base, and then I kind of winged it from there and got a feeling for what the artwork was going to be. So with these textures and patterns, I just wanted to contrast some of the things that I've done over the years to give you some inspiration. These are, so on the left side is like cut circles that are heavily layered and they're very dense to make kind of a flatter kind of feeling towards the texture. On the upper right side, that's the picture from Outline Blur, and it's kind of light and airy. And so the light can go through it, creating the textures not only in the physical material, but also on the wall behind it. And then towards the bottom right is textures that are overlapped, that they are creating this dense 3D space. And so you can think about playing with textures, shadows, and mood. So today we're going to be creating a mobile, and a mobile is a decorative three-dimensional piece of art which can be hung. Mobiles have decorative elements hanging from their support structures. So you're going to be creating like a support structure, and then you're going to be putting your inspiration on top of it, similar to what I've done in my installations. So you're going to be thinking about textures, patterns, mood, layering your materials. And then also I really encourage you to improvise and take kind of go wherever your creativity leads you. So before we begin, you're going to need to gather up some materials. You're going to need scissors, glue. You can use dowel rods or anything that you have that might be similar, just to kind of have a support structure to hang it from. And then you can gather sheets of foam or paper, and then gather up some other items you might have around your house, like pipe cleaners, buttons, pom-poms, anything else. And I reuse my materials for my installations over and over again. And I really encourage you to look around your house for any old art project that either you've never finished, or maybe you completed it, but it's kind of gathering dust, and taking that apart and reusing those supplies. And so you can pause the video to go gather your materials. So the first step to making your mobile is to create the support structure. So you want to take your dowel rods and put them into an X shape, and then use your pipe cleaners to create, to hold them together, and then make sure that you leave a little loop for hanging at the top. And then take your sheets of paper or your sheets of foam and cut out some negative and positive shapes to use as decorative elements in your mobile. And so on this picture on the left, you can see the negative space with the cutout of the circles. And then on the other side, you can see how I'm folding it to create the negative space to cut out the circles. Another thing you can do is gather all of your other materials, like your buttons and your like random art projects, and then start by improvising and creating your decorative elements to go onto your mobile. And so you can try to make at least 5 and make more if you would like. But remember, when you're adding and combining your little elements, to think about texture, mood, pattern, and then layering your materials. When you attach your mobile, to attach your elements, you can use tape or pipe cleaners or glue, and you're going to hang them from your support structure. And now you have your mobile. And I really encourage you to keep playing with your mobile. Mobiles are really fun and inspiring. And for me, I'm always taking things apart and reorganizing them. So if you want to learn more about my artwork, you can go to my website at emilymoores.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at emilymoores_art.
Thank you so much, Emily. Folks, enjoy your mobile making. Make sure you tag us in your posts and what you've created. Again, thank you, Emily, for your talent and time sharing with us. A big thank you to the governor, the legislature, and the Ohio Arts Council's board for supporting the Ohio Arts Council, this great space, and of course, Ohio artists. Have a great day, everybody.